Welcome into the Autzen Audibles Podcast. I'm Matt Preem, Eric Scopel on the show as always, and today we're pretty excited to bring on apparently a longtime listener to the show, Oregon offensive lineman Jackson Powers Johnson. Jackson, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
Oh no, thank you for having me. And I'm listening a while since I was a recruit because there's always dead periods and stuff like that. And you guys are like my inside scoop because you guys got to talk to coaches more than I did at some point. It was great. Remember, there was an Autzen Audibles. Every day was ready to listen. So
Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear. I guess that tells Eric and I that we're doing something right in this world, which is a good thing.
for sure.
Let's start with just this spring for you. Your position went with a coaching change. Adrian Clem moved on to the NFL. Alik Terry came in. I'm pretty sure you knew Alik Terry before, right? He was here when you were being recruited.
Yeah, he was a big part of my recruiting process here to Oregon. So Elite coming back, it was such a blessing because we definitely could have went with anybody that I hadn't known, but we brought back Coach Terry, and it was just like a family reunion. It was awesome. So
I guess just what was that? What's a transition like for the spring with a new coach? What was that like for just you and your entire unit?
What is so great about Coach Terry coming back is, there's a lot of guys who know Coach Terry, and then there's a lot of guys, first meeting Coach Terry. And see, it's kind of funny because normally, like when we had a change from, Coach Maribel to Coach Clem, it was kind of a lot different because we're meeting someone who we've never met. We're creating relationships, with someone we haven't created before, and someone who did actually recruit us,
Right.
And but now like we bring someone back that we know. It's just like I don't even know what it's like. It's just like how like you get your favorite character back.
Yeah.
Like a TV show. It was great having Coach Terry back, and all the guys who didn't know Coach Terry before, love him now because he's awesome. He's young, he has fire to him, and he can relate to us. And I don't feel like I gotta be very prim and proper around him. I feel like I can be myself, which is awesome. You don't really see a lot in college football.
Coach Clem left a little later than most coaches would leave because he took an NFL job. And I'm just curious with when Alik was in the process of getting hired, was it on your radar that he might be your position coach going in? And when you maybe got a sense that it was happening, what was just kind of your reaction?
When we were looking for offensive line coaches, Coach Lanning said that he was going to go and find the best and find us the best to be a better unit and just be a great offensive line. If you ask my dad called it for sure. My dad thinks he called it. My dad thinks he knows everything, but it was definitely it was more like a I wish, like oh, that'd be awesome. And then it's just like, oh no, that happened. Like, oh, this is happening. This is awesome. So it was I wasn't really focusing on who we were gonna hire. They brought in Coach Leftwich Cutter. He's our like assistant offensive line coach or GA or kind of that role too. And he was here and he was awesome. He kind of helped that transition super great. So we were really just focused on working out because it was really out of our hands. I wasn't gonna try and lose sleep over it because it's not like I'm in the room with Coach Lanning, trying to hire somebody, which I think I do pretty good, but I'm not there yet. So
one day. You mentioned it kind of being out of your hands. One thing this is trying to be a nifty transition. One thing that has been in your hands more recently is the football as working. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Great transition.
To potentially be the team starting center. Obviously, that's still ongoing. Take me back to your high school recruitment. Was the plan all along to play center, and then having worked with Alex for the last couple of years, where did maybe he help you out to get you set up to a spot where maybe you could step in and replace him?
Mm-hmm. So I was recruited as a center here. I played center in high school 3 years, yeah, sophomore to senior year. And then when I came here, I was a backup center behind Alex my freshman year, and then had to transition to move to guard because we had some dinged up and had some opportunities to play. But I'll touch on both your questions. I feel like I'm pretty natural at center. Like I was recruited here for that. It's not like after senior year of high school I just kind of stopped training it. Like I kept training it all the way through because I like snapping. Like some of our guys will go do 7-on-7, by themselves, and I'm instead of me trying to throw the ball, I'm trying to snap it. I always had fun doing that. But and Alex is your second question. Alex has been it sucks to say he's not here anymore, but he was such a big part of my development at center as well because older guys what they can do is just they can be done with the practice and just walk off the field, but he stayed after. You get snaps. He gave me the guidelines to be a great center, and what he kind of like set the path. It's like this outline how to follow it, and he's helped me tremendously, and he's making it easy. It's making it easier for me to transition to center this year. So
obviously you're an offensive lineman, but let's go back to 2021 for a second. In that bowl game, you went back and forth. You played both ways. We've seen players go both ways before, but I don't think I've ever seen a player go both ways in the trenches. I mean, that's just incredible. What was that like for you? I know you've touched on it a little bit. You were willing to just do whatever the team needed for you to get that win. But what was that like? And how close were you ever to staying D-line? Was that ever a possibility for you?
So playing D-line was fun for sure. It was I just kind of got thrown into the fire because I was strictly offensive line my whole freshman year until maybe 2 weeks before that bowl game where we had some people hurt and some people transfer, and it was the transitioning of coaches, right? And they needed bodies over there,
right?
And it was funny because like they were looking for who could play both ways. And I was like, I said it was me because I played it in high school. I was pretty good in D-line in high school. So I think 2 weeks before the bowl game, they flipped me over. And I was just super eager. I'm like, why not? It's just not like I didn't think I was going to end up really playing. I thought I was just going to be this third down run stopper, right? And it's funny because I go from thinking that and then I'm just like, oh, no, you're starting.
I was gonna say, didn't you start in that game? If I remember right.
I did start that game, and it was fun. I mean, it's tough. Like that much running. Oh, I might have lost like 15 pounds that game because we were in Texas too.
Yeah, it was hot
all around. Yeah, it was all around. Nice little weight loss program for Jackson, but no, it was a great fun opportunity. I got to play against Caleb Williams before he went to USC. And I think I have a hurry, so I'll tell my kids that one day. And then when Coach Lanning came to some of the practices and some of the new coaches came to our bowl practices because Coach Lanning hadn't been announced, and it was kind of the first time he got to be around the team. And where was I? I was on defensive line, and I think all the new coaches liked me there except Coach Clem. Coach Clem fought tooth and nail for me to come back to the offensive line. But so like I did that spring. First half of spring I was D-line, strictly D-line, and then we had some guys kind of banged up, so I switched back and forth and I did both ways in spring, which is tough and also great weight loss program for Jackson. I was just really trying to get my summer body for that year. But and then we had some guys coming on D-line, some transfers, Casey. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, all right, Casey, there you go. You can be on D-line now. Right? And so then I just went back to O-line. That's kind of was. But I don't know. Some of the coaches like to joke with me to this day, like, oh, when are you going to come back? And I'm just like, I don't know. That's not up to me. So, yeah, but I have a lot of fun. I'll do it. It's fun. I had so much fun playing D-line. Because I got to go against, Alex and stuff.
Yeah.
We would talk crap back and forth kind of during this. Like every position does this. Like receivers would be like, oh, I could definitely lock you down. Like they'd say that to each other, right? And it was on the offensive and defensive line. I would talk crap and be like, none of you guys are blocking me. So then we get into those, when I finally got to happen, then it didn't matter. So we do one-on-ones, and it really did. All the other ones, they were kind of, but when I was on D line and it was one-on-one, everyone just like the whole line, they just wanted me so badly because I got the opportunity to go over. But it was all in good faith and a lot of good competition. So
I think you might be the only offensive lineman. We might have Nate look this up in the NCAA stat sheet here. You might be the only offensive lineman in college football to generate a quarterback hurry.
Yeah, and I had tackle. I was running around.
I was going to say, we need to get, I'm not sure if Nate's with you there. Nate, by the way, for those listening aren't familiar, it's the sports information director who's been kind enough to help set up this interview with Jackson. We need to see how many players have started during the same season on the offensive line and the defensive line in one season. I bet it's not a very long list. So we'll put Nate on that.
And he said he'll figure it out. But yeah, and as a freshman too, I think was so funny because like I went from, getting in at the Fresno State game because Alex cramped up for like 3 plays, and it was just like, all right, college football, let's go. Right.
There you
go. And going from that, starting a couple games to, okay, you're going to start on the other side of the ball. Like, all right, let's learn playbook in 2 weeks. That should be fun. So, yeah.
We just went back to 2021. I want to take you back a little further and just give you an opportunity to shout out some of the people who helped to get you here. I mean, you're living, I'm sure, dreams that you set when you were 12 years old. Who were the people at 12 who maybe were encouraging you to pursue this, and who were the people who helped you get here, I guess?
Oh, definitely my parents. Mom, dad taking me to everything, making me play 10 sports, pushing me. Definitely them. Like I wouldn't be anywhere without my parents for sure. Especially and my dad too, because my dad's he's my stepdad, but he's really like my dad. That's why my last name's hyphenated, and I changed it coming into college. He's the one that really got me into sports. My mom was so against it when he first came in my life. No, he's never gonna wear any sports paraphernalia. He's just like my mom thought I was gonna be like a Polo Ralph Lauren model. It's still in the books.
Maybe
I'll lose a couple LBs, but no, definitely them. Just my high school coaches. Like I was blessed to have a great high school team. Like I lost one game in high school, won 3 straight state championships, and having a great offensive line coach Coach Cavender. It's funny, there's 2 Cavenders now. Oh, Cavanaugh and Cavender, but Coach Cavender back at Corner Canyon. Coach Kerr, head coach, and then Coach Satera. They helped me a lot too, because it's funny because my offensive line coach back in high school, I played D-line. I started off D-line, and I was so against playing offensive line. I was like, I don't want to play it. Right. And then my offensive line coach goes, if you come over to the offensive line, like, I'll get you to college football. I was like, all right, sure. Then Hairmat, so I pretty much owe everything to him. And so definitely them. It's just there's so many people. I could name 1,000 people. So yeah.
Who's been the hardest guy for you? I got some dogs barking in my background, so it's going to be great audio.
I got 2 dogs of my own too. I understand.
Who's been the hardest guy for you at Oregon during practice to block, and just what's made him so good? To be difficult for you to go against in practice.
Ooh, this is tough. Okay, they have to break it down by year, because my freshman year was Jason Jones. So he was just a massive human being, right? And I gotta say, Popo Amavai, like, he is so strong, so quick. I'm excited to see what he does this year. And then, my best friend, Casey Rogers, like, we go against each other so much. I think the coaches, like, I swear, go into every meeting and go, we're going to make it so Jackson and Casey get 1,000 reps against each other and just beat each other up, right? And they'll always just pair us up for, like, all these little, like, there's a competition drill, Casey versus Jackson. Like, all right, yeah, we get it, right? But, Casey's a tough guy to block too. Like, he's going to, you saw last year in the Utah game how, crazy good he is. And he's being slept on, he's not being put on all these, like, preseason All-American stuff, but he deserves it. Like, he's a dog, and he's gonna really get after it.
Well, Matt has left the show, it looks like, to deal with his dog situation. So I will send us to a quick break here. Thank you for listening to the Autzen Audibles podcast. All right, we're back, and the show notes are kind of getting thrown out the window here because Matt had a question he was supposed to ask first, but I'll just jump into it. I think is something that will probably be very interesting to those listening. What's your favorite food spot in Eugene? Where do you guys go? And are there spots that maybe like are different position groups maybe have different favorites? Like is the O-line maybe like a certain burrito spot and the receivers like a different place? Kind of I'm just curious. Where you guys eat?
So this is kind of a tough question because there's so many great, food spots in Eugene. For me, I'm gonna say my favorite place is Elkhorn. Great soul food, great food. If you get a chance, you got to go there and try the Big Jack's burger. It's amazing. It's really good. But
wait, you have a burger named after you?
I do have a burger named after me. I'm blessed enough to have. I went to Elkhorn so much, and that they're like, all right, we do a little NIL deal with you, and so yeah, I have a burger named after me there. Go try it. It's insane. I mean, it's a fork and knife type of burger if you're a normal sized human being. But I think the O-line, that's tough. The O-line, everyone has kind of different spots because we get money to certain places to go eat through the university and through our nutrition staff. But I'd say the most popular on there is probably Dave's Hot Chicken. Everyone can rock out with some Dave's Hot Chicken, and they have good fry sauce there. And fry sauce is kind of a big deal because it's a Utah thing. No one out here has good fry sauce except Dave's, so I'll probably say them. Shout out them, right? And but I would say if I had quarterbacks, I can tell you easily quarterbacks. It's Chipotle. Quarterbacks love Chipotle. That's all. Ty Thompson, I think, might be a stockholder. I am not kidding. If you see a Chipotle, all the people that want to meet Ty Thompson, to run into him is at Chipotle. Right.
You're supposed to be protecting Ty, not exposing him.
It's your quarterback.
He loves Chipotle. So, I don't know.
What's a typical day for you guys right now? I guess maybe in a couple weeks when summer hits, because everyone asks us hey, what's the football team doing right now? What are the basketball players doing right now in the summer? What's a training day with your school commitments, your football commitments, and you're also a college student. You also got to enjoy being a college student. Just what's a summer day like for you guys when it's off season work?
Okay, so I'll do yesterday what I did yesterday because yesterday was a action-packed fun day. So you wake up, right? Nice little 5:30 a.m. when everybody's sleeping, right? You get a little anxiety attack because you look out and it's light outside and you think you've slept through your alarm. But in fact, okay, right? Go to practice, get here, eat, and then we'll do team run. So, some days it's straight head of straight speed and acceleration and top end speed, and some days it's change of direction. So you'll do that hour team run, and then after that you go lift, and we call it buku swole. So yesterday was buku swole arm day, so we got swole in the arms, and so you get lift, and that's just another hour or so, right? And then what you got to do is you got to eat. So you go down here, great HCC food here. I think yesterday what I had some biscuits and gravy. Great biscuits and gravy. Shout out our kitchen staff. And
I'm a big biscuits and gravy guy myself, so I like to hear that.
So good. They have grits, really good grits down here, and I didn't have grits coming out of Utah, so I discovered them here. But what I did? Oh, then you got to go to school, right? So we don't have a class from 1 to 6, and you'll have some classes in there. I had Spanish. Hablo español un poquito. Then after that, I had gospel choir class. Now,
wow!
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah. So there's a couple guys in the gospel choir class, right? And our concert is this Sunday. So if you guys want to show out and watch us sing some gospel music and get after it, come then.
Well, what time's the concert at?
I think it's at 1. I need to know this information actually because a lot of people have been asking me. I want to have a school of people been asking because it's they think it's going to be hilarious to watch all these football players singing in a choir. Right?
Oh heck yeah!
So but that, and then after that, I actually had a donor golf tournament that I go play in. I had to go hit a quick 18 in.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
I know, right? I played horrible. All right, the swing is in shambles, but other than that, play 18 holes, say hi to some people, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and then normally on Wednesday nights we have these things called get reels, and Coach Lanny talk to them quite a bit. So we have get reel meeting, food, go back, get some homework in. Last night I watched Tombstone.
That was a good movie.
And then hit the hay, and then repeat. So
I've got so many follow-ups to ask. Can I ask a couple follow-ups, Matt, that are not on our show notes? Well, okay. What makes a good Utah fry sauce for starters?
Okay. I don't know the exact ingredients, but it's just ketchup and mayonnaise. That's just OG good fry sauce, right? But it has to be a little bit sweeter because everybody's like trying to do this like they call it their own sauce. It's just fry sauce. Come on, right? So I think that's what constitutes good fry sauce.
Okay, and then back to the choir. Best singer on the team?
Ooh. Okay. I think I'm up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an alto. I can sing a little bit higher. I can sing all three things, but they need me in the altos because we're lacking at the altos a little bit. So before I played football growing up, I sang in the choirs and I did ballroom dance. I did a little bit of everything.
Man,
he's a true Renaissance man.
Renaissance man here.
Yeah. But if you come, Dave Hewley does have a solo.
Ooh.
So he's really good. Poncho, Malalulu, Alulu. I pride myself on saying this right. I'm probably saying it wrong, but Poncho, for sure, he's a really good one. So I think I'm probably have to go with Poncho. He's really good.
Is it all offensive line apparently in this core?
Oh, and it's not okay. So Steve Jones is in there too.
Oh wow.
Kavika Rogers. Who else? I'm trying to think. Oh, Michael Wooten, George Silva.
Yeah, it's all offensive linemen.
It's a lot, and then there's a bunch of DBs and some receivers in there. And
how did this group start? Because I think you've got some. We see the posters, and I think we've got a game day poster here idea of you guys singing your a cappella stuff for a fundraiser or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. But no, so we all work with academic advisors at the JQuA. They're awesome, and this is a class you can take, and it's super fun. It's good. It's arts and letters credit, so yeah, it's easy. So
I mean, it sounds great. And you answered my question. You're an alto, but you said you've got some range there.
I do have some range. Some range.
I can't say I sing very well, but my grandpa and my aunt are choral directors and do that in college and stuff. So
there you go.
So I've got a little history. I'm a little familiar, but I can't say I can sing with you guys. I'm sure you and Dave and all the others are better. Back to the show notes. Do you have a favorite Dan Lanning story? We ask this to every guest. I want something that kind of shows off his personality because I know he's funny. We've talked to him enough. We know he's funny. Is there a good story that kind of showcases some of that?
Okay, you probably heard the one where he takes off his shirt before a team run. That's a great one.
We did.
That's a good one, but also there's so many good ones. Because I work so much heavily in recruiting too to help recruit guys. So I get to see Recruit Dan too. Recruit Dan's awesome. Recruit and normal Dan are the same, but Dan gets hilarious around the recruits.
Nice.
I'm trying to think.
Here I've got. It's not a moment that you would only know about, but what was the team's reaction when they saw Dan Lanning's tweet with the cigar on National Signing Day? Because that one's on the internet. That's infamous.
Oh no, we were that's our coach. That's our coach right there. Because he has a nice cigar lounge. It's a really nice cigar lounge, right? So it was funny because there was some guys making fun of him and sending him little gifts of I don't know, Hugh Hefner smoking a cigar or something. But I don't know. I thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, that's my coach. I don't see any other college football coaches looking that dope, So,
what's been your favorite Oregon uniform combination. Everyone talks about the uniforms. Yeah. I know that's always a big thing during the recruiting process. Mm-hmm. Guys like the uniforms, I guess. So what's been your favorite combo you've worn? And I guess maybe the more important question is, you're an upperclassman. You've got a little bit of say now. What's the uniform combo that you want to push for 2023 that you want to see?
All right. First thing, I'm an upperclassman. That's weird to hear.
Yes, two, we were talking about that before you got on.
Yeah. Okay, my favorite one that I've worn, I gotta go with the breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
I think those are so cool. Like,
yeah.
Growing up in Utah, like seeing the lens of Oregon for me was their uniforms, and I thought it was so cool that I would wear pink, right? Because I had friends growing up whose moms had breast cancer, so I thought that was really cool. Like I've been lucky enough that no one's been affected in my family having that, but and they were just such cool jersey. The black is super cool, and it was we're playing. Who do we play? UCLA on game.
Yep.
We're wearing pink on college game day. Like that was just kind of surreal. I think it's more the culture behind like the pink jersey than actually how it looks. 'Cause it looks sick. It looks cool. The helmets are cool. Like everything about it's really cool. But kind of the surrounding thing about it, that we're playing for something more. We're not just gonna slap on some green and yellow.
Yeah.
We see and include everybody. Which is really cool to see. And the one I'm pushing for this year, if I could push for something, I don't know if I have that to say. We wore these jerseys back my freshman year against Cal, and they were the kind of jerseys that it was not the bioluminescent one that would I don't know what the word is, but it would hit and it would react all these kind of colors, and it was a black jersey too.
Yep.
I thought those were so cool. We only wore them for one game, so I'd probably say those.
We often hear about your quarterback, Beau.
Mm-hmm.
There's an opportunity to kind of tell some Beau stories, that he's kind of an extension of the coaching staff. That he's obviously comes from a coaching pedigree with his dad and his family. Football is a big part of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any examples of how he carries himself? Maybe, I don't want to say different than players on the team, but maybe you kind of see a little of that coaching kind of background kind of creep into his personality or some of the stuff he does.
Well, yeah, no, Beau's awesome. Beau's definitely going to be a coach one day. How he talks and how he gives advice, and I can give you how he gives you advice. And I'm in Eugene, right? I'm in the dating pool, right? So if I need girl advice, I go to the man who's married, right? Mm-hmm. So no, Beau gave me relationship advice through a coach's lens. I don't know, but he gives great advice that way. But how Beau carries himself in this way of almost perfection, it's hard to look at Beau and be like, all right, what's up with this guy? Beau, how Beau dresses, how Beau talks, how Beau treats everybody, because he treats everybody so great. He treats everybody the same. He's not this hotshot big quarterback that really talks to the elite or someone who's going to benefit him. He talks to everybody the same. I had family come up from Idaho, a rural town in Blackfoot, right? There's 7 kids in the family, right? Big family. They built their own house. They're kind of cool, right? I have this little cousin, right? And everyone was really excited to see me, but she wanted to see Bo Nix, right? And it's after the game. It's I think it's 12 p.m., right? And Bo's just with his family, and this little girl wants to see Bo Nix so badly. So I was like, okay, I'll go ask him. And I went and asked him. He's like, yeah, for sure. And treated that little girl like she was Phil Knight, And you hear stories and you want your quarterback to be that, but he is exactly like that. So I love that I get to protect for him. That kind of stuff goes in the back of my head when I go to pass block for him. So
we'll wrap it up with this last question I got for you. You just talked about it a little bit there. You can see it when you talk about your team. You're not the only one to kind of express this, but this team feels pretty close. The team culture is really good.
Mm-hmm.
How did that get accomplished? And I guess just how does that maintain throughout the year? Like you said, your best friend or one of your best friends is Casey Rogers, a defensive lineman, a guy that's not in your position group. You go up against each other in practice, but he's not in your team meetings. You're not around him the most.
Mm-hmm.
Just how does these friendships form? How has this culture been built for this program?
The coaches do a great job of, bringing us together outside of, practice and, sports. Coach Lanning talks about those get reels, right? And he harps on them so much, but they are a huge reason why, we are connected. Brian Addison, didn't talk to him until maybe this year, right? Safety, same thing, not really in my, kind of like area, I would say.
Yeah.
I learned his why. And now that I see him do every rep, I know his why. And I know what makes him tick. I know what makes him, play harder, So like stuff like that, it's almost like you're bringing emotional awareness to football. And that hasn't really been done, So that connection piece, we do all these fun team activities, just anything. And it's funny because we'll have times where I think it was this winter where we had a Friday practice. And Friday practices normally mean we're going to kill you. We're going to make you throw up and rethink your life choices about football, right? Because you got 2 days off and you're going to be great. You're fresh after those 2 days, right? So we're getting ready to go to our first station. We're ready to fight in the trenches, right? And Coach Lanning this is my favorite Dan Lanning story.
Oh, here you go.
We're wrapping around to it, right? And he's just like, he has hey, everyone over here. I'm like, oh no, we're gonna run 5 miles. What did we do? What did I do? Did I do anything? Like everybody, like when parents called your name and you just rethought everything you've ever done in your life. Same way.
When they use your full name, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble, right? And he brings us up. He goes, all right, we're going to breakfast. We're not doing workouts. Oh, just thank you. Thank you, Dan Lanning, right? And the great part about that is we didn't go to breakfast with our position coach. So we went to breakfast with Coach Tuioti, right? And we got to fellowship with him. Or when we do these get real meetings, I'm not with Coach Terry, right? I'm with a quarterback, a DB, a wide receiver, right? And a kicker. And our person leading the deal is Coach Lorig, right? We're kind of breaking down the cliques, It's not just an O-line, we're a team. We're all Ducks, so.
It's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, hey, man, Jackson, really appreciate you coming on the show during your off season. We look forward to seeing you train, seeing you play, covering your practices, covering your games this fall. And hopefully we get you on maybe during the season. We'd love to have a repeat appearance from a longtime listener of the show. Thanks for coming on, man.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Autzen Audibles Podcast. Until the next one, we'll catch you later.
Talk to you later, folks. Peace.